Talk a little World Series. Right now, again, let's get into the NFL. Start off with the nail biter that was the Lions-Cowboys game yesterday. Final score, Lions win 31-30. And for whoever hasn't seen, let's start off with this. For whoever hasn't seen this play, I suggest going to look it up. Matthew Stafford, essentially, has the ball at about the 1. Calvin Johnson, who had, we'll talk about him in a split second. Calvin Johnson makes a catch and gets stopped at the 1. I know it sounds like a broken record, if the countless times this happened to him. Nonetheless, stopped at the 1. Stafford runs the ball up to the line, looking like he's going to call fakes, looking like he's going to call a spike. He fakes a spike, jumps over the lineman, and the ball crosses the pylon for a touchdown. And the Lions, and this is after the Cowboys take a 2 field goal lead with about a minute 20 left in the game. Fantastic job there by Matthew Stafford, and he showed that he's a leader. In this NFL, let's to be fair, they give you Stafford's numbers: 488 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. They look fantastic, right? 33 or 48. Yeah. Calvin Johnson yesterday, 14 catches, 329 yards, and a touchdown. He was 6 shy of the title for most catches for most reception yards in a single game. He was so close, but nonetheless, fantastic job by him. And you look at Reggie Bush, had a very good game, but he's been getting broken down a little bit with these injuries. 21-92 and a touchdown yesterday for Bush. I'd be worried a little bit if I was Lions fans about his longevity, because he left the game yesterday. He got hurt on Friday during practice. And George Bell's actually looked pretty good. So I would not be opposed, if I am a Lions fan, to sitting Bush for a game or two, let him heal up completely, and then throw him back in. The other big story that came out of this game yesterday was the tirades, or the tantrums, thrown by Dez Bryant yesterday on the sideline. If you haven't seen it, it's all over Deadspin, Bleacher Report, everywhere. Essentially, he goes on the sideline, infuriated, starts screaming at Tony Romo. Screaming. I mean, like, insane at Tony Romo. Then, after the Stafford touchdown, he starts going insane at Jason Witten, and Jason Witten said, no, I'm not having any of this, get out. And go look up the videos, it was weird. After the game, Romo said that all his screaming is always positive energy and all this weird stuff. And Brian himself said that he has positive passion for the game. Is it possible that that's what happened? Yeah. Am I buying it entirely? Hell no. He was held yesterday, 3 catches, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Good numbers typically, but he was only thrown 6 targets to him in general, as opposed to number 2 receiver Terrence Williams had 10 targets to him. Brian's going to have to grow up. He made comparisons this week to Calvin Johnson, and Calvin Johnson by far got the best of him. And granted, I say Stafford's a better quarterback than Romo. Some people say the opposite. I like Stafford more. Better arm, in my opinion. Has a clutch gene, doesn't choke every 5 minutes. But Brian's got to step up here and just suck it up and go out and play. Not be a baby on the side. Maybe it is positive passion. A guy who's matured fantastically, I'm happy to say this, is Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers. After the 31-13 win over the winless Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are about to go on straight mutiny in a minute, Cam Newton said something to the effect of My teammates are the reason we won this game. My teammates are the one. My teammates are the reason for this win. That showed so much just improvement and encouraging news on a guy who's clearly talented. He's 6'5", can run the ball, as well as throw a nice one. It's very encouraging to see him grow up. He doesn't have fantastic, targets. D'Angelo Williams is nothing to write home about. Steve Smith is in the twilight of his career. Brandon LaFell isn't anything special. So, it is very nice to see a guy coming on his own who could possibly be a top 5 quarterback in this league. He could be better, I would say, than RG3. He could be better. He is better, in my opinion, than Russell Wilson. He could be better than Kaepernick. And he should be, considering he was the number 1 overall pick a year before the gigantic draft, where you had the 4 quarterback. He was actually in the same draft as Kaepernick, now I'm thinking about it. He has potential to be just as good for... He has just the ability to be fantastic. He's got the arm strength. He's got the legs. He's got everything you want out of a quarterback. And I'm trying to get the quote for you guys right now. Once I pull it up, you guys will hear it. As far as the Buccaneers go, Greg Schiano's got to go. There's going to be a mutiny. Darrelle Revis said after the game, he was asked, does the team trust Schiano? And he honestly said, I don't know. Straight out, I don't know. And Revis hasn't had the best political correctness, if you will. Look at what he's done when he was with the Jets. But Schiano just got to go. He drove Josh Freeman out of town. Mike Glennon's not even close to being an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. Cam Newton's exact quote, if I'm playing great, it's because my teammates are. That's just fantastic out of him. I'm incredibly impressed. A little breaking news coming in right now to studio. Penn State settles with 26 victims of former assistant football coach Jerry Sandusky for $59.7 million. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. It's nice to see that they settled, but and that everyone's gonna move on. But I think the problem is that everyone is gonna move on now immediately and try to forget that this happened. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Moving over to the third game here, Broncos obliterate late. Essentially in the fourth quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, the Redskins were winning this game. They then scored 35. The Broncos scored 35 unanswered points. Final score 45-21 Broncos over the Redskins. Peyton Manning, he's got a high ankle sprain. He needs to sit a game also. I'm a big advocate right now of this. They do have the bye this week. That's definitely going to help. They got the bye, but he didn't look great yesterday. 354, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. So a lot of ill-advised passes, a lot of stupid plays. Brian Rackpo had a pick at the goal line, which he should have caught, in my opinion. Peyton looked flustered yesterday. He looked a little scared. I didn't love what I saw out of him. RG3 played badly, flat out. They tamed him again for some reason. 15 of 30, 132, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. He ran the ball 5 times for 7 yards before leaving the game with an injury, which isn't supposed to be serious. Kirk Cousins comes back in, 5 for 9, 48 yards, 2 picks. The Redskins I'm giving the Giants more of a chance to make the playoffs right now than the Redskins, because the Redskins have looked flat out bad in a lot of these games. You can't allow 35 unanswered points. I don't care if it's the Broncos. 35 unanswered is insane. Monty Ball played yesterday for Denver's running game with Ronnie Hillman out, and he actually looked very encouraging. 11 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Nosha Marino, 14 carries, 44 yards. C.J. Anderson, 4 carries, 22 yards. Moreno helped out more in the passing game, though. 6 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Welker had a big game. Thomas had a very nice game. Decker was quiet, and Julius Thomas left with an injury. I'd be concerned if I was the Giants, if I was the Broncos right now. I'd be very concerned because Peyton Manning is how this team lives and dies. Brock Osweiler, I don't think is going to come in and be even near. He can be okay. He's not going to be anything good enough, and that's going to hurt all the receivers on this team. That's going to be bad because you're wasting good talent. But on the same hand, I don't think Eric Decker or Julius Thomas, for that matter, is going to be a great receiver with Brock Osweiler quarterback, and that can send the Broncos into a downfall. So if need be, and I know they're on the bye this week, I sit Peyton Manning, have Osweiler start a game. Other games of note yesterday: San Francisco dismantles Jacksonville in London, 42-10. Kaepernick looking good as old. Oakland takes down Pittsburgh on a stupid timeout that Pittsburgh took before they had to get the ball back. Arizona, Andre Ellington looked fantastic yesterday, running right up on Atlanta. Atlanta's season's looking pretty much over. Green Bay destroyed Minnesota, but I am disappointed in their defense because with Christian Ponder, Minnesota managed to score 31 points. Even though they have Adrian Peterson, they still shouldn't be able to score that much. New England scores 24 unanswered. Stephen Ridley's back. He looks good as new. I'm interested to see what happens when Shane Vereen. I want to make a note of this game, though. The last one that I'm going to talk about before we get a break. Tom Brady does not look like Tom Brady. He looks bad right now. Not just not good. He looks bad. He had all his targets yesterday. He had Amendola. He had Edelman. He had Gronk. And just nothing. Zip, squat, nothing. He looked god-awful. Couldn't complete a pass. His final numbers on the game yesterday, 13-22, 116, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. His receivers, Aaron Dobson led the team with 4 receptions, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Otherwise, the second highest receiver was Gronk with 27 yards on 2 catches. I'd be terrified if I was the Patriots right now. On the other side, Tannehill, again, looked fine. Didn't look great, didn't look terrible. 192, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. I'm scared if I am New England Patriots going forward and Tom Brady. If Tom Brady does not pick it up, he had all his pieces. And that honestly should be, if I'm the New England Patriots, with the way they work with draft picks, just buying and selling and never really taking anybody that significant, other than, I would say, Gerard Mayo recently, I would trade for Hakeem Nicks. I think that's a perfect spot. They need another big receiver. I think Hakeem Nicks and Tom Brady would work out very well. I'd love to see that combo. And I think Tom Brady needs it because everything about that team is shot right now. From top to bottom, that team is even though they won this game, I am terrified right now if I'm a Patriots fan with the way Tom Brady's playing because there's something wrong with him. It is 2:06 on WQMC Radio. My name is Gary Younger. This is the 5th quarter. When we come back, we're going to talk some World Series. 2 very weird games yesterday. 2 very weird games yesterday and the day before. With just bizarre endings. We'll get into that. Jeremy Tuck at 225. Right now, again, 718-973-986, 718-973-986. You have to call in. Everything is on the table right now with us. Like us on Facebook, The 5th Quarter. Check out the website, thefifthquarter.org. Right now, I'm going to throw on some Slash with Back from Cali.